Hi, welcome to First Issue Club. We're your weekly comic book reading podcast. We're just like Sue Storm. We love a good read. I had a great idea for a movie the other day, and it's based on my actual real-life experiences. There was a phase wherein I had short-term memory loss. And every day for 50 days, I woke up and I read Absolute Batman #1. And I got to relive that amazing feeling and sensation of reading that book for the first time. And I would go throughout the day with a sense of wonder and excitement and just believing in comics again. And it's called 51st Issues. And I like to think that we've captured a little bit of that spirit of what that time period of my life was like in this podcast, wherein we are just talking about first issue comic books. Entry point into a new adventure.
To comment on that part of your time when you had that short-term memory loss.
Yeah.
It was also the same day that we recorded a podcast. So for 50 straight days, Andy and I had to come over here and record a show. Mm-hmm. We had to repaint your room every day. We had to put the TV on that was like the same TV shows and news programs that were on when you had your short-term memory, so you wouldn't have like this mental breakdown. Yep. We had to make you fall in love with your wife every day for 50 days.
Your wife had to trick you into loving her.
It was a living nightmare for us. Yep. It was rough, but I'm glad that you got to read Ultimate Batman Fallout #1 Hush for 50 straight days and relive that magic.
Thank you. I'm Mike D.
I'm Greg.
And I'm Vargas.
Together, we're the First Issue Club, and we're inviting you on our journey with us to read comics every single week and see which new ones we're interested in, and we'll be adding to our pull lists to continue reading for subsequent Issue Club, a part-time
favorite show on the Patreon.
On the Patreon, where we read second issues and tell you, was it as good as the first?
If you're interested, go to patreon.com/firstissueclub to see those episodes.
We unfortunately did not get the .com domain. It was taken.
It was taken by Club Crackers.
What a drag. Okay, we've got a lot of news to talk about. Yep. We were so focused on it that during the Patreon, we were like, what else? What else? What else?
Switch 2's happening? Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb are doing the Switch 2.
Yeah. Switch 2.
Switch 2. Let's get into it for news.
Sure.
For Newsarama, and then First Issue Club Extravaganza.
First issues this week.
Yeah.
We said this before, that it's either feast or famine here every week on whether we have anything to show you guys or too much. And this week we are definitely dangerously close to too much content for the main episode. But here we go. TFAW, the popular online retailer, Things from Another World, if you're wondering what TFAW stands for, is shuttering their online store. Effective April 9th, they'll stop taking pre-orders for books. And then after those are done, the store will be just like shut down digitally. Now, they have 3 brick and mortar shops, 2 in Oregon and 1 in California. Mm-hmm. Those will remain open.
Yep.
It's just the online presence will be gone. You may not know this, but Dark Horse was actually a partial owner of the TFAW biz.
I did not know that.
So I'm not saying that Dark Horse had anything to do with this. I don't want to cause any rumors to happen. It was just a fun little tidbit that I wanted to share.
No, I'm going to be sending a sternly worded email to Mr. Horse regarding TFAW's closure.
Please, Mr. Horse was my father.
This is a lot of Dark Horse stepping away from the internet comics biz in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do they know that we don't?
I think...
Is Al Gore pulling the plug?
I think Al Gore decided, hey, we had a good run at this business I started.
I should have kept this in the lockbox.
Al Gore wasn't the lockbox guy, was he?
Yeah.
He was,
yeah.
Okay.
We'll keep the finances in a lockbox. You know, and honestly, at this point, pull the fucking plug. If the internet is done, it has done more bad things for this world than good.
You know what? A few weeks back, I discovered for myself that Dark Horse dropped off the face of the internet for their digital issues when trying to read one for
the show,
this podcast. And I always feel like it's unfortunate when I have to support Comixology in order to get something on short notice because, as many of us know, I don't know, they're not our favorite in the comic biz because
I hate them.
They don't handle some of the ownership stuff.
Omnibus is gone.
Yeah, it's one of your only options left now. So I try to go to publishers if I can buy stuff digitally from them, but the infrastructure, I think, is just getting messy for people that they don't want to deal with it.
You can also use Google Books.
Google Books is a thing. Okay,
has a good repertoire of new books that even come out like weekly, but it's not like that's any better than supporting Amazon.
I was gonna say Google has its own issues.
Ha!
Bazinga.
Google doesn't have a face though.
Yeah,
That's true.
Makes me feel better about it. It's just
it makes me feel
it's
worse.
going to some name.
It's like some kind of like
some
War
nameless
Games
freak.
computer.
Yeah.
They definitely do, but we don't know his
I don't know
by
who they
name.
are.
Do
Yeah.
you want to search for it? Sucks. That's Google.
Oh, okay, that's how he talks. Or she.
Or
they.
Or
Let's be honest,
exactly.
it's a he.
From what I've read online and the internet, I meant to say Reddit, not internet. I am not old, young person.
thing.
I am very fun.
Yeah, Reddit and the internet, same diff.
It was kind of universally known that Tifa had the best pre-order system.
They had the best customer service as well when it came
Yes.
to like buying stuff online. So like all these, if you Midtown will send you books that like there's a guy who works at Midtown and his job is to fuck your comics. And then they'll
Gary, yeah.
and then they'll ship them to you, and they'll be like, "Well, you can pay for UPS Ground Advantage if you want to do the upcharge." And it's just like, no, my comics are
Yeah.
like
Someone punched them.
someone punched them. Like they're all dented in different places.
Yeah.
and it's like you saved the worst copies to like mail out to your customers.
Yeah. It's like they were throwing them in like ninja stars from
Yeah.
across the warehouse.
And then you'll email them and be like, "Hey, Midtown, there's a literal hole all the way through my comic book," and they're just like, "What do you want us to do about it?"
Send it back or we'll sue you. This is slander.
Yeah, we never said there weren't going to be holes in the comics. Tifa just is like, "Gotcha, we'll send a replacement." Doesn't matter if it's a $1 bargain bin comic or like a $50 ratio you bought. They're just like immediately sending you a new comic book.
They said, keep it.
Not anymore.
We don't
Right.
want it.
Yeah.
That's probably why they're going under. Just like
Well, you think they'd keep
refunding.
more business being that sort of company. Like in having this conversation we're having right now, it's a conversation framed like it's a bummer they're going away because they're one of the only like loved and trusted online retailers, right?
Right. And like so that's what I got from Reddit of just like people kind of scrambling of just like, where do I go now for like online retailers? And
Yeah.
like, a lot of them were just like, I don't want to go to Midtown. Based on all this, like what we
Midtown's
just
terrible.
described. And so I do have a couple of options for people that I don't endorse these, but these are the options that I've seen that people have commented that are just like, hey, I use these people and they are a good alternative.
Yeah.
One being mycomicshop.com.
Ugh, talk about a bad website.
Their website's horrific.
It was made in 1994 and they said, this is good enough.
Yeah.
But they are respected in the community. They ship really well. Another retailer who created their site in 1994 and said, stop what you're doing. This is perfect. Gmart, which is a comic book shop out of Chicago, also has a huge backlog of books that you can choose from.
You know what I don't like about those sites is that they mix in stuff from previous previews catalogs with stuff in older previews catalogs, or I mean, with stuff with the current previews catalogs.
Yeah.
So if it's like, hey, now June books are able to be ordered, and then you accidentally order a bunch of books you already bought.
Yeah.
because
Bummer.
they're just mixed in there. It's like so confused. It seems like such an easy no-brainer thing to be like, oh, why don't we? This is the one thing we do. Why don't we make it a little easier for
Why don't
our
we fix it?
customers? Add one filter to the website.
DCBS, which is like
I don't
good
know this one.
discount comic books. They are really good for like omnibuses and trades.
Okay.
They do really steep discounts, as the name implies. So if you are that kind of reader that likes to wait for the trade or omnibus to come out, DCBS.com is where you need to go. Also, in-stock trades.
Yeah.
That has another great huge slash discount. One that I kept seeing that was very Tfaw-esque, as it was like kind of like sold to me, was AtomicEmpire.com. People said they do great shipping. The product remains like intact when you get it. Has the same kind of pre-order setup that Tfaw had, which was like you could pre-order basically up till the day before.
Yeah, that's nuts to me.
You may not
Tfaw-
have got the book, but
Yeah.
you could at least pre-order it.
Yeah, Tfaw was nuts about that.
I loved Tfaw because you could pre-order and they wouldn't charge you until the day it came out.
Yeah.
Which made budgeting a little easier to
Yep.
handle. And they still offered the same like 30% discount, which is crazy. And so those are some alternatives that I found in case anyone's kind of scrambling of where they need to go.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of friends from the Discord and otherwise that they only get online retailers because they don't have a shop close to them. Which, one, huge bummer. And two, kind of highlights why we need a good quality online retailer to trust, because there are comic fans who live in remote areas or rural areas that don't have access to a local comic book shop.
Yeah. It's also one of those part of me is like, can we get physical stores to catch up with the previews online discount ever?
So
Online retailers give you like 30% off, and in store it's like 5-10%.
They can't afford it, man.
So there is a
Yeah.
thing that is happening where your local comic book shop now has access to an app called like The Pull or whatever. And your local comic book shop can set it up through their website where you can go and basically pre-order these books through your local comic book shop. So
Yep.
it takes the guesswork out of the owner,
Yep.
knowing what to get, and you confirming that you want these books and you're going to have them in your pull list when you get there on Monday or Tuesday or whenever you go. The problem is, I don't know what the discounts are,
Yeah.
because each store may be different. And it's another thing of just like, you got to pay for what you get that day.
Yeah.
Like if you pre-order 8 books, you got to pay for 8 books.
Yep.
You can't like just kind of section it out for FOC or whatever.
I understand that obviously a brick and mortar is going to have higher costs, and they don't do the numbers
Yeah.
to maybe get away with like 30% discount to compete with like the big online retailers.
Sure.
I wish publishers themselves would do more to incentivize people getting back to local comic shops.
I don't know how you do
That
that.
if there was, I think one of the things would be lowering that at cost purchase price for
Yeah.
people who spend hundreds of dollars a month in a comic shop by allowing you to discount books like 20% for people ordering them like 3 months ahead of time.
Or subsidizing the cost of bags and boards.
Right.
So a shop can afford to give you a free bag and board with every purchase.
Right. Yeah.
Or, I mean, there's stuff you can do other than just like not making as much money.
right.
right.
Yes.
Like if Marvel, I mean, imagine if Marvel gave every store, a one of one every week.
Yeah.
That
Do
was
more.
only for in stock. I don't know how you do that, but
It's a trust thing.
To
I
me,
guess.
yeah, there should be a lot more of these retailer incentive type of things that is like, hey, you ordered one of these books, you're going to get the one per store as well.
Yeah.
It's hard because like Tfaw in Midtown and all those bigger online retailers, they're not like a Walmart, right? They're not a Target.
Right.
They're local. They are local comic book shops.
Sure.
But they're just on a bigger scale than, say, some of the shops we have around in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And if like Marvel or DC did like kind of like a loyalty program, those bigger shops would also be able to take advantage of that.
Totally.
And not in a way of take advantage of just like, rig the system or whatever, but it's just like, I don't know what the answer to getting more people in the local comic book shops than speaking directly to a shop owner. Because that's, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, everyone gets the same product at the same amount. It's just like, I know that like a comic book shop in LA is going to do better than a comic book shop in like
Hutchinson, Kansas.
Yeah, it's just like, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And you can't really, Marvel can't just be like, oh, well, the shop in Hutchinson will sell these books for like 20% less to them just because they need the help.
We need comic book socialism.
Every book is 25 cents across the board. And Marvel is just like, you know what? Fuck tariffs.
Comics for everybody.
What we're going to do is just every unsold Spider-Girl book, we're going to strip the paint out of and just print a new book on it. That's how we're going to recycle these things.
Let's move on.
Just like Gordon Gekko, we here at First Issue Club
Believe greed is good.
are all
We're staying on like a capitalism sort of.
are all about the money.
Yeah.
Our first tagline for the show was not just like Sue Storm, we love a good read. It was cha-ching. And I don't know if any of you new listeners will know, but one of the co-hosts of the show used to be named
The Budget King.
the Budget King. Yeah. This used to be a very money-forward comic book show.
Yeah, right.
Skybound, the imprint of Image Comics, has publicly been promoting their new public option. They're going to be traded on the stock market exchange soon, within maybe a couple days now. And they've been promoting this like early bird special of if you buy now, you get like a 15%
Increase in stock.
increase in
partial stock.
Yeah. So we here at First Issue Club have been just kind of wringing our hands together, of like Scrooge McDuck, ready to just dive into our room of gold coins and decide which one we want to spend on this Skybound share, if you will.
Yeah.
But for those of you who don't really know what's happening, Skybound is trying to, in my mind, and what some tinfoil hat people on the internet, is trying to show that they have liquidity and value, because I think they're going to make a big push for TV and movies here soon.
So, for those of you who also aren't aware, Skybound are the publishers of
Walking Dead,
Invincible,
End of list.
Oblivion Song,
I have a
Outcast.
different take on this, because I think you've got Walking Dead and Invincible, great comic books.
Stillwater.
I'm not saying Stillwater, amazing comic book. However,
Yeah.
Stillwater's like a maxi series. It's like 12 issues, right?
Sure.
And the fandom or fervor for Walking Dead and Invincible, and then the step down to the next rung of these other properties they own is very drastic. So to me, I'm kind of like, did these guys, they kind of shot their wad with
It's
Walking
a very expensive
Dead
wad they shot,
and
though.
Invincible.
Well, I'll say this, Mike D. I guarantee you, you are correct. Walking Dead and Invincible are their cash cows.
Yes.
Their third cash cow
Universal Monsters.
is board game production.
They are making hand over
Because
fist with board game stuff.
They aren't. They're like production or distributing companies for movies for board games. Like if you kickstart a board game, there's a likely chance that Skybound hopes you print and distribute it.
Okay.
So I think that is like half of their money.
Yeah.
It's not in the thing that we associate with Skybound.
Okay. Let's say you're a board game giant.
Okay, hold on.
Does that validate me putting 10% of my gross income into your company a year?
Who is spending 10% of their money on stocks?
Somebody.
A lot of people.
Some bro.
A lot of people.
I do. So we talked about this before the mics came on. I don't think this is for us. You know what I mean? Like this.
Well, this like initial fun thing. I do think it's fun that they were like, "Hey, comic book community,
You want to own
be a
piece
part
of
of
history.
this." And I kind of want, like, we texted about it. I kind of wanted to, just for the novelty of being like, I own some Skybound. It's the thing I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, why? I mean, I could afford to. We talked about this a little bit too. We could afford to buy like a couple stock, probably.
Yeah. However, a couple stocks,
shares, not stock.
a couple if we bought, so the minimum buy-in.
Obviously,
One-
we're very,
Yeah,
One
we're
stonk,
savvy.
please.
We're very savvy.
very savvy when it comes
Is this
to
a
money.
smiling ape?
I sunk all my money into NFTs, so I'm doing fine.
I'm fine. The minimum investment is $525, which
Yeah.
gets you 5 stonks. With each stonk being $105.
Yeah.
So we contemplated buying
Great
6
math.
stonks, so we would each get 2.
Then we didn't, to be clear.
The stonk price would have to go.
I would have
through
a
the
mailed-
fucking roof.
I would have them mailed to my house and then give you guys the
the piece of paper.
the piece
Honey,
of paper.
they don't mail you stonks anymore. But what we're saying is like the stock would have to go skyrocket for us to see any kind of
It's not a money-making venture.
No, it's just for the novelty
Right.
thing
Yeah.
for us.
which we dive into a lot of novelty shit
Yeah.
for way more than $105. This does not seem like a good idea for an average Joe like you or
Yeah.
I, because we can't buy enough of it to make a financial impact on our portfolio.
Right.
Portfolio is a money term where you put your money in a folder and then bury it in your backyard.
But they're making video games. They're making all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. But most of their stuff that I'm aware of anyway is Walking Dead and Invincible stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But
And
to
I'm
be
not going
fair,
to put my money into Walking
that's
Dead and
that's a
Invincible.
ton of fucking money they've made off of those 2 franchises alone.
Invincible is Amazon Prime's #1 money-making show.
Right.
That's wild.
Number 2, reruns of Kitchen Nightmare.
Number 3, Reacher.
Reacher.
That show rips, by
Reacher
the way.
unrated. It's just the Reacher episodes where he's not wearing a shirt.
Hell yeah.
Oh my gosh. You know what?
That triggered something. Speaking
This this podcast is brought to you
not by Reacher,
not by Reacher, but I guess the beer version of Jack Reacher, if there was ever an equivalent, would be Boulevard Brewing Company's Space Camper Cosmic IPA. We're all drinking a different variety of it today.
Except
we were.
for Greg.
We were, that's
and
right.
Mike.
Okay, I was drinking Craterator Orbital Amber
Ouroboros.
IPA, which is a very cool Western outlaw character on it. They all have like cool comic book characters. And then we had Chillbreaker.
I
Yeah,
gotta say,
I'm a chill guy, so I got a chill break.
the last time that Adam was here, he
Yeah.
left some Zero Gravity, which is their non-alcoholic version. Mm-hmm. And I took the rest home with me because I'm a good boy and you guys are evil demons. It is so refreshing just to like drink a Zero Gravity
Yeah.
after work, get the taste of a space camper in your mouth
Yep.
without going to another dimension. I can still get dinner prepped, look at my kids in the eyes without crying, and be good to go.
And smell like beer.
Yeah, and like when the cop pulls me over because I have just empty beer cans of Zero Gravity in the car,
Say,
I'll be like, "No, sir. Orange juice has more alcohol per volume than this delicious Zero Gravity." Which is what I'll say to the judge when they're throwing me in the
in the clink.
Hell yeah.
in the jail.
I'm going, bitch.
They also
Pig.
they do hop water
Yes.
with Space Camper that I'm a huge fan of as well. So they're great with the NA stuff, great with the
Hot water.
A stuff.
Let's get back into money.
Yes.
Skybound. It's there if you want it.
Yep.
They're going public.
If you want it, here it is. Come and get it. But you better hurry.
But you better hurry.
If you
'Cause
want the
it's not coming
15%
back.
bonus.
I'll just say this, like I say with anything that seems kind of like too good to be true. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't put your whole life savings into this.
Don't just because you're a comic fan.
Right.
Never invest anything you're not willing to lose.
Right.
Same advice you get it with gambling.
Just because you have some stock of Skybound does not mean that Robert Kirkman's going to read your idea for a comic book.
False.
Unless you buy enough.
There it is.
Like $50,000 worth of stock. Then you can talk to Robert Kirkman. That's the Kirkman tier.
That's the Kirkman tier.
If they just treated stock like Kickstarter.
We wouldn't have to be in the situation we are right now.
Gosh, I remember having a conversation with somebody
Oh, nice.
about, I know, I have friends, about the idea of like being ahead of the curve on like being a fan of somebody.
Okay.
And thinking about that like like social currency almost. Like this is like like if I could have stock in having been a fan of this, that, and the other.
Right.
Like before they got
I knew the
really
Wu-Tang
famous.
before they were a clan.
Yeah, exactly right. Now my Wu-Tang stock would be through the
roof.
Yeah.
Sell.
I think it's a fun idea. We did teeter into the category that it's like, you're kind of talking about owning people, which isn't very kosher. Man, if I could have stock in this...
If I could have stock in Sydney Sweeney,
yeah,
I'd be
right.
flush
And it's
right
just like,
now,
well,
baby.
that's getting into dangerous territory.
It's complicated territory. That thought idea.
That thought idea ends quickly once you start getting into the nuts and bolts of it. But, yeah, I do get the idea of like getting in on something early and having like pride in that.
Yeah.
And in stocks, you get in on a business early and you get a reward.
And this really isn't the ground floor. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Skybound has been established. It already has 2 blockbuster franchises underneath it.
But if you believe this, there's enough smart people behind Skybound
which I do.
that they parlay this early success they have into creating something like a Universal Studios or whatever else, like Paramount or something that, yeah, you could be in the money, as they say.
Yeah, as Bugs Bunny would say, you are into money, Doc.
Right.
Moving on to more comic book news. CinemaCon is happening this weekend, which is where big movie studios and producers and directors go to showcase their new stuff that's coming out in the next few years. We got new footage from Superman movie, the live action How to Train Your Dragon got a release date, some stuff from Lilo and Stitch, so on and so forth. The big news for the Marvel movie coming out soon, Fantastic Four, we got some brand new footage that confirmed a couple of things. One, we saw the first footage of Julia Garner as the Silver Surfer, Shala Abal.
Okay.
Second, Sue Richards, Sue Storm, if you're nasty, is pregante in the new footage. She's with child.
I love it. The honorary 4th member of the club.
Yeah. She lives a good read.
Congrats to Sue. Couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, we're very happy for you, Sue.
The reason this is important
We can't wait to meet him.
is because she is assumedly pregnant with Franklin Richards, who is a very big deal in the Marvel Universe.
Yes.
Thoughts?
When would she be pregnant in this?
She's in like the 2nd trimester.
In the past, though?
If we are to
time frame doesn't matter, Mike.
If we are to
don't think
believe
so?
what this movie is, I believe that this Fantastic Four is in an alternate timeline.
Yeah, of course.
So it doesn't matter when she's pregnant.
Maybe
Because when they get shot into our universe, it's going to be present time.
maybe the end of Fantastic Four, she gives birth, and the birth
Is the 616?
is the-
Oh my god!
the doctor reaches in and births the
And she
616.
says, "It's a franchise."
There it is. It's Kevin Feige.
Yeah,
fully
the
formed.
doctor is Kevin Feige. What is it, Doc? It's a hit.
It's Iron Man 2008.
By the way, that's a perfect Kevin Feige impression. It's a hit.
It's a hit, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you like my goofy ass baseball
He's
hats?
always so exasperated and like every last syllable is an effort to get through his teeny tiny esophagus. I just can't, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited to announce the next big thing for the MCU.
He's tired. He's just stressed and tired.
Because 90% of his day is, why won't these fucking
yelling at
kids
people.
leave me alone?
I wish you would have liked She-Hulk more. You got scarred, didn't you?
Oh, I think it's cool. I think this Fantastic Four movie is going to kind of throw people for a lot of loops.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I think it's going to lead very well into the new Secret Wars movie because we'll have Franklin and assumingly Valeria. Mm-hmm. Doctor Doom's going to be Emperor Doom. We're going to get a lot of fun smash 'em up, beat 'em ups. In last week's episode, we had Chris on to talk about the cast of Doomsday and who is going to be in that. And it's everyone. I think we're actually in Doomsday. This is like
big announcement.
It's like the biggest roster since Infinity War, I think. It's a little much, but whatever.
No chair for the cheeseburger, though.
No chair for the cheeseburger. I can't have cheeseburger.
Drat. Rachel Drat.
Rachel Drat, who couldn't make it tonight.
What about this link? What about the... go ahead.
No, I'm kidding. I was going to say who the new Venom was, but we can get back to that.
Who to say in the new like a new cast?
No.
The comic book, the thing that we cover on the show.
Okay.
Staying with us.
Zelda movie? This on your radars?
Yeah. What was that? What's that all about? Chris Pratt.
What do you mean? What's that
cast
about?
as Link.
No.
People are so mad about this, and there's like zero information, and people are already pissed.
The only thing that's been announced is a release date of 2026
Oh wow,
or something.
That's
like
soon.
No, I think it's 27.
whatever. Like that's it. That's all we know. They're making it, and it comes out
Live
eventually.
action. Is it live action?
Live action.
We know it's
I'm
live
fine
action.
with that.
People
And
are
I'm
mad
fucking
about that.
jazzed.
I can't
about
wait
it.
to see which character Jack Black plays.
Sure, he's got to
He's
be
been in
this
everything.
Let him play Ganon.
Tingle.
Let him be the pig man.
Let him be the voice of the horse. You know what? So far, video game movies have been on a very good trajectory.
Yep.
Mario was good.
Mortal Kombat was good.
That one's good.
Start at the beginning.
This mind.
No. The new
There's
Mortal
new
Kombat.
ones.
There's a new Mortal Kombat.
That's going on the sequel, my guy.
My guy.
Oh, I did not know that.
Luke Cage is in it. Looks pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft movie that came out this weekend's getting crazy good
Looks
reviews.
a lot of fun.
What was the one with Jamie Lee Curtis that kind of bombed?
Borderlands was
Borderlands.
Oh,
not. It was not bad, and I'll say it.
Okay.
I think what ruined that movie, which ruins a lot of movies,
Yep.
Kevin Hart. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
Okay, and there was a TV show of the game with the blue-haired girl that people love so much.
You're talking about League of
Coraline?
Legends.
League of Legends.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
And was that good?
that was good.
Okay.
And then Fallout New Vegas.
Fallout was awesome.
Fallout's
Yeah.
very good.
People loved Cyberpunk, the show.
Cyberpunk was good. War
Trailers.
Games is about a video game with
Ferris Bueller.
Matthew Broderick. Oh yeah, they're doing good.
I think Zelda's, I think
Wreck-It Ralph.
I could not be more excited for the
Wreck-It
Zelda
Ralph's.
movie. To get back to the thing we were talking about.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. They're gonna put the Queen's Gambit in there as the Zelda, whatever her name
She
is.
already played Princess Peach. You can't cast her as Zelda.
As a voice, people can separate the two. There's gonna be a live action. You see, you're gonna put her in there as Link. People are gonna watch the movie and be like, I'm hearing Princess Peach. I can't separate the fantasy.
This is something I gotta wonder. If you're a huge Nintendo stan and you live in Japan, are you so fucking pissed that they're casting white people and making this movie in English?
First of all, they haven't cast anybody yet.
I'm just
To be clear,
I'm just assuming.
We can assume that.
I don't know. Maybe they'll cast the entire
being-
entire membership of BTS. They're just the cast.
They're all about to be released from the army soon.
That's what I'm
so
saying.
they will be available.
I think this would be rad. All Japanese cast.
Okay. Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
As long as I have your blessing, I guess.
It doesn't matter who plays the role to me. I'm not that kind of person that's going to be irate if Zelda has any pigment that's not mine. You know what I mean? It's just like
Sure. Yeah.
it's just like I can tell that like it's about the story that's being told rather than like what the person looks like.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm fucking jazzed about it.
I'm not playing the opposition here.
No.
I feel like
you
this
want
got
everyone to be white.
turned into a debate. No. What I'm saying is that it feels like
It's like a yeah.
yeah, that series in particular, at least in my head, has been that these are Japanese characters in a property that was like very Japan,
Yeah, then was brought over to America.
and then was brought over to America.
Interesting, because they're like elves.
And everyone knows
Yeah.
elves are white.
Elves are Japanese.
If we can take Tolkien's
That's right.
knowledge and apply it here.
I mean, there will be people will freak out about that movie, regardless of who's cast.
That's gonna be an incredibly difficult movie to make everybody.
This will
happy.
destroy the internet more than when they cast that one girl for the new Ariel in the Little Mermaid movie.
For sure.
People would rather not have a Zelda movie than have a Zelda movie that's like 80% what they want it to be.
Which makes me want to pull my hair out.
If they find out that Zelda, like Link's pronouns are they, them, like God help them, that's gonna be just like a torch to the whole movie industry.
All right, I have the solution.
No movies for anyone.
Well, that's a better solution.
That Link is kind of like that'd be cool. He's very like asexual and
he's
kind
androgynous.
of like androgynous.
He says nothing ever.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Does he even kiss Zelda?
No,
he
he's a
does-
self-insert character.
He says a couple things. He does go, "Yat,
True.
set."
And which is pretty masculine, so I changed my answer, I guess.
Here's my solution. Here's my solution. Every character in the movie,
Played by a dog. We'll airbutt it.
played by Tilda Swinton.
Oh,
Every character. Zelda, Link, Ganon, the old man that gives Link the sword.
If anyone can pull it off.
All
It's
Tilda
the
Swinton.
old man who gives Link the sword.
All Tilda.
We're
all the
taking it
time.
back.
if
to
Tilda
the
can be
original.
Bob Dylan, Tilda can be Link and Zelda.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, we've settled it. Finally, there's a new Venom in town.
Okay.
Face it, Tiger.
Your Venom. It's Mary Jane.
Ever heard of her?
People are mad.
Yeah, well,
People are mad.
people are going to be mad about everything.
I'll just say it. I'll lay it out there. Internet is mad about MJ being Venom. I don't have a dog in the fight, to be honest. Al Ewing seems to be pretty confident with the decision that was made, and he promises some soap opera-like interactions between the symbiote and MJ, which to me sounds kind of fun. Thoughts and prayers?
I'm interested to see interactions between, if they come up, I guess, between MJ Venom, Eddie Brock Carnage, and Peter Parker Spider-Man. I think that sounds like a really interesting trio of characters.
The Venom Spider-Man interaction will happen, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what Eddie Brock's doing right now with Carnage besides
He's
just
like-
like trying to figure out
Yeah,
his
he's like
shit.
on the run with Carnage right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that sounds cool. Mm-hmm. That sounds like a pot that's worth stirring.
Speaking of pots, I'm a little behind on the jackpot thing. Is that not a thing anymore?
And Pepper Potts.
Well,
Where's she?
she's Venom, so
She's Venom and Jackpot?
I don't know.
Venom Pot. Jack 'em.
Cool. Cool. Spider-Man could grow 3 dicks and change his name to, I don't know, White Cardboard Box, and I would not be shocked at this point. It's just like they've done anything and everything in that series.
Yeah.
Like, and it lasts for as long as it lasts, and then it comes back to the status quo. That's what's fun about comics. Let's chill out for a minute and have fun with it while we can.
First appearance, 3-Dick Spider-Man, slab it.
Yeah.
Gotta
this
have that 9/8.
episode, I suppose.
If you think about how much people were buying Batman Damned for a while. Imagine.
Still in CLZ, it's listed as a minor key for the first appearance of the Batawang.
Minor key? Oof, that's an insult. What better way to insult a man by saying, "Oh, it's just a minor key."
Minor key.
This is like, oh, damn. All right. Well, at least thought it would make the CLZ shakeup.
All right, can we talk about comics now?
Let's go. Time to do the comic reviews. Remember we used to do that?
No.
We used to have a musical segue into
I remember.
comic book talk.
I don't think I do.
We would have.
Let's get this podcast started.
Oh, we did used to say that.
Yeah.
This was when Matt Hodap edited the show.
Mm-hmm. We had to have like catchy little
That's why I forgot.
peppy shit.
I didn't have to do it.
Andy, we overlapped a lot this week.
We did.
Mike D, you read nothing
Jack Squad.
because it's been a rough couple of days for the boy.
Yeah.
That's okay. You took a week off.
Thank you.
You're allowed.
Let's dive in.
I was
dive
in an
into
entire boardroom earlier this week.
Yeah, yeah. Mike D played like 5 people in a one-man production of DC the Boardroom.
Mike D was our Tilda Swinton.
Yeah. Mike D pulled a real Tilda. All right. Resurrection Man, Quantum Karma by Ram V. And, oh, sorry, my phone's too far away. I can't read it.
Not RK.
Yeah. So here's what's going to happen here with this book. Greg sees a couple of things initially from the cover that worries him. 1, character I'm not familiar with. 2, it's a DC Black Label. 3, Ram V is writing this. Which means those are all triggers for me for one thing. This is going to be a lot of words, and it's going to be very heady. Then I started reading the book, and I absolutely fell in love with this story. This is a story about Resurrection Man, and if you're not familiar with him, just like I was, he is a man who, whenever he dies, the way he dies when he's resurrected, say, if he died in a fire, he will be resurrected with like fire powers.
Yeah.
If he died falling out of a plane, he will be resurrected with flight powers. It is like a fun little twist on the immortal concept of a superpower. This book was beautiful. It was poetic. It was the right amount of heady for me where it wasn't so over my head that I didn't get it, but it was smart enough where I felt intelligent because I understood what was being presented to me.
Yeah.
These kinds of explorations into characters and into the concept of what is a hero mixed with like time fuckery is always a recipe for disaster for me. And it's like hardly ever accomplished well. And if anyone could do it, it's got to be Ram V, because right now he's killing it with the Fourth World stuff. If you are even like remotely interested in this book or like time powers or like immortal powers and like a little bit of like Alan Moore mixed with
It's very Grant Morrison.
Grant Morrison.
You crying?
No?
Yeah.
I mean,
If the book was that
this
good.
really touched you.
Oh, come on. I hate you guys. It was just really, really good. It's
It
just
was
like
really good.
a phenomenal exploration in this character I didn't know anything about.
Yeah.
Well, and
You made a new friend.
Oh my god.
like
Resurrection Man.
Anytime I try to like put any
it's
extra biscuits on the plate.
Greg, this is how I feel every week when I go last and I try to talk about my comic books and you guys just shit on it.
Because usually you're talking about
Godzilla versus
Godzilla
Fantastic Four, which I will get to.
Army of Darkness versus Godzilla, which is like, okay.
Okay, so what I loved about this book was in classic Romby fashion. The first half is you see Resurrection Man die of old age, and he's reminiscing about this woman that he fell in love with and the kids that he had, and comes back to life. But during his resurrection, he is interrupted somehow by a version of himself from a different timeline and told that he has to somehow save all of the universe.
He has to save time
Yeah.
from this galaxy from being eaten by like a time eater.
By a time eater. So you get through all of that and you're like, oh my God, what is this thing? And then a second story starts wherein Resurrection Man is in...
He's in World War II.
Yeah.
But he's been taken by the Japanese.
Yeah, he's a POW during World War II, and the guy who's in charge of the POW camp is an insane like cannibal, and right when the war ends, he demands a feast. So he eats part of Resurrection Man and becomes some kind of like immortal whatever. He can't die in the same way Resurrection Man can't.
Right.
And that stuff is so compelling. And my guess is that the guy from the camp is going to end up being the time eater.
Or just a villain he has to mess with.
Whatever. But again, in classic Romvy fashion, you get this heady, crazy story. And right when it gets to the point where you're like, okay, what is this? What's going on?
It goes into comic book mode.
It goes into comic book mode, and it's just absolutely incredible. I felt the same way reading New Gods.
Also by Romvy.
Also by Romvy, exactly.
Oh, can I ask some questions to get my bearing?
You just
Please.
Does when Resurrection Man dies and returns, is he returning as a little baby boy?
No. So
Okay.
this is a fun thing because when he dies, he's basically just like sheds his old self and is reborn as like a very sexy 20, 30 something year old man,
Okay.
long hair.
He's not
Adonis.
Resurrection Baby. He's Resurrection Man.
Okay.
What I got from the book though is previously, whenever he would be resurrected, he wouldn't have any recollection of his past life.
Okay.
What's happening now is there's a convergence of every lifetime he's ever led is now like a singularity. So he has like a through timeline where he's remembering every past he's ever had. So like his lives are merging into one timeline.
Completely mento.
Yeah. It's all Fitz
you
Rocker,
ask
mate.
me, that's all Fitz Rocker, 100% mento.
The original series by Dan Abnett is so good. And
I guess I need to read it because I am.
and then they did a New 52 version of it too. That's just it's awesome because he's like a Hulk roaming the country trying to solve like murders and stuff. Also,
Quantum Leap.
it's Quantum Leap.
Do we know when his first resurrection was?
When he was like 13.
He
Resurrection Man, the Morning Wood, number 1.
res erection, man. You know what I mean?
Hard karma.
No, I don't know.
Any other questions?
Okay, so Resurrection Man gets his powers from dying in a spectacular way,
Well, dying in any way.
Yeah.
or dying in any way. But what if he dies in a really mundane way? Then what is his power?
Well, so he
Monotony.
he dies of old
He can
age.
bore you to death.
He's like an energy vampire.
That's right. Yeah.
He dies of old age in the first issue and just like comes back as normal.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just regular old guy.
Just like humdrum.
So it's better that he go out in a blaze of glory because he's
So he
going to
gets a power.
absorb some.
Yeah.
Like in a
Okay.
gunfight, he gets resurrected with gun hands. Can't eat anything, but goddamn, he has gun hands.
All right.
You have hand bullets? You still have hand bullets?
All right. Questions done.
This book was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, big recommend. This is a mini series.
Yeah. I mean, it's Black Label, so
Yeah.
it's a 6-issue or
Yep.
whatever.
I just want to make sure people knew that ahead of time.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to do that one now.
Well, no. Let's do the other one. Yeah.
Absolute Green Lantern. DC's got to stop doing this.
I'm only reading absolute books from now on.
Yeah, it's like
It's heater after heater after heater after heater. And I honestly thought the Green Lantern one was going to be the biggest miss of them all.
And we're gonna run out of money at some point, right?
Yes.
We're going to have to.
We can't buy all these and every single mainline.
My bank account's
DC
about
book.
to hit absolute zero.
Yeah, right.
I honestly thought Absolute Green Lantern was going to be the dud of the group. And I
No,
can't
man, that'll be Absolute Lobo or whatever.
I can't be more pleasantly surprised on how fucking good this book was.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Art. Written by Al Ewing. Art by Janoy Lindsay, which I haven't heard of any of their stuff. I think they're relatively new to the game.
A surprisingly manga slant to this art.
Yeah, people kind of compared it to like a webcomic / manga
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
And initially, I will admit, when I saw some of the artwork, I was not thrilled. God, give me another facial tissue, see what happens. I was not initially thrilled with like how the art worked, and I guess what I needed was just to see the whole book laid out in front of me, because it just worked in a really compelling way, especially with like when we get to the end towards the end of the book, when like Hal Jordan reveals the power that he has, and that the what's her name shows up at the very end.
Yeah, the other Green Lantern.
The other Green Lantern
from
is it?
she's from Lost Sector, right?
Yes, yeah.
Because that's the other cool thing about this is
Far Sector.
all
Far
Far
Sector.
Sector. All the Green Lanterns are in this book.
They're on Earth. Like Guy Gardner is here.
John Stewart. We haven't seen Kyle Rayner yet, but I have no illusions that he will show up.
Yeah. Moog. Sure,
Yeah.
he's there somewhere.
Yeah.
And even-
Sinestro, they're all there.
And even like the alien that like gives the Green Lantern his ring in the mythos, the absolute version looks like Majin Buu.
Yes.
Like 4 arms, weird head antennae. Like he looks like an anime Dragon Ball Z character. And it's like, if you just kind of like recognize that each of these absolute books are going to be like kind of their own genre thing, like exploring different mediums that have inspired comic books in one way or the other. This is a fascinating experiment that DC is doing and absolutely crushing it.
Yeah. If Absolute Martian Manhunter was a Twilight Zone episode, this is an X-Files episode.
Yeah, truly. And like, to speak on Martian Manhunter from last week, it's already been rushed to like second print
And expanded to 12 issues.
Yeah, like the response. Are we boring you, Mike?
I'm just playing a game.
Okay. The response.
I need my fidgets.
The response to Martian Manhunter
They help me concentrate.
was just so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And rightly so, because the book was bonkers good. I suspect this is gonna be the same for this book, because like Hal Jordan has like a corrupted hand now.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a ring. He has like this big black energy.
I don't think he's actually a Green Lantern.
I don't think he's gonna be either.
I think that whatever is killing or ends up killing Abin Sur, it has infected Hal,
Yeah.
and old what's her name from Lost Sector gets the ring.
Far Sector.
Also Lost Sector.
There's 2?
There's 2.
Oh, okay.
Lost Sector was a mini. But
If they-
it's Far Sector.
If they just start out by making Hal Jordan Parallax,
Yeah.
like what a way to start it.
Or Black Hand, the Black Lantern.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my thing. So far, just based on this conversation of people who already know comics, this book sounds a little inaccessible because we're naming names of just like in the weeds characters.
Okay. So
let's speak to that for a little bit.
So the book starts out with Hal Jordan, John Stewart, and you need to look up this character's name. You have a phone right in front of you. They're all sitting around talking about stuff in a diner in New Mexico, and inside this little town, a ship just boom right in the middle of town and like kills a biker right there. Hal Jordan runs out. He's like, we got to help these people, right? And then Abin Sur, the Green Lantern, comes out of this ship and then we like basically cut to black, and it does that thing we just talked about where we hate, where it's like you see Hal Jordan, and then it flashes back to that thing that happens. Whatever.
Joe Mullen.
Sure.
J-O.
Sure.
Okay.
So Joe. All right.
Yeah.
And then Hal Jordan is kind of like wandering Hulk style across the desert with this hand that he knows kills people.
Kind of delirious. Like he's just like kind of like dazed of like the infection that he has in his body.
Yeah. So he ends up walking into a different diner. You know, the people are like, what's going on? He's like, oh my God, I was there because the news program was like, this thing happened. And then everybody's like, okay, you were there. What happened? And he's like, I don't know. There was an alien, you know, and he's got his hand in his pocket the whole time. And then everybody's like, okay, what's in your pocket? And he's like, no, I can't take it out. And then of course everybody's like, oh, he's got a gun. He's got a knife, whatever.
Yeah.
Takes his hand out and it starts killing everybody. And then we get Joe coming through the door in Green Lantern regalia.
Joe's been lanternified.
Yes,
Yeah.
she gets the ring.
Joe's been
Okay.
lanterned. I think Hal Jordan is Black Hand
Yeah, he's infected somehow with something.
because it's just like a energy signal coming from his hand, like
Yeah.
elbow up, just like radiating.
There's a scene where he gets shot and it like
Yeah.
reaches inside of him and pulls out. It's like a Venom symbiote.
Yeah, exactly.
Got
Like
it.
pulls out the bullet and heals him and doesn't let him die. But yeah, I mean, it's you don't have to know. I mean, I guess like any of these absolute books, you don't have to know the character that they're based on, but there's plenty of like
Easter eggs.
nods and
Yeah.
Easter eggs and all that stuff.
All
to
right,
it.
cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. It sounds completely mental.
Completely mental. I was a fashion school serial killer.
I didn't realize it. This is from the team that did plush and plastic and vinyl.
Doug Wagner, Daniel Hilliard, Michelle Madsen, and still best name in comic books, Ed Dukeshire on letters. This is, I think, within the vinyl plastic plush world.
That would make sense.
This is a young woman who is a
It's dealing with the material.
fashion-minded individual. She's trying to get into the New York fashion school. She does so, but the medium that she works with the most is human skin.
Which is so cool.
Yeah. She is kind of like a vigilante serial killer who primarily preys on people who are like victimizing other people. She's like a Dexter if Dexter was like Versace.
Yeah, that's pretty close, actually.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it follows her entering into the new school for design and fashion, her trying to be standoffish and not really get friends and just kind of like work through the school. We all know from 80s movies and any book you ever read, when you do that, you usually attract the brightest butterfly in the room. So she gets like this eclectic group of friends that are just like very opposite of what her demeanor is, and it's kind of like a yin and yang thing, and she slowly starts to come out of her shell. And then this book ends on a pretty brutal cliffhanger of like how she's just going to go forward in the school and defend her friends. And
There's also a cool parallel where she says she has this skin condition that acts up when she gets annoyed. And the thing that at the end of the book where Greg said there's this brutal scene, the thing that helps her with the flare-ups of this condition are bathing in blood. She literally fills a bathtub with blood and is like
takes a dip.
bathing in it. So
Which, you know, I have eczema, so I know what that is like, and I've taken a blood bath many a time to quiet down those flare-ups, so I get it.
also some absolutely insane covers for this book. The A cover has her working on human leather in just this giant piece of fabric with faces and stuff on it. The B cover is, I guess, an homage to a Vogue cover that Beyonce did. If you can see it there, where it's instead of gems, it's eyeballs. And then the C cover is them like working on like a head, like a wig head, but it's like a dead lady. That book was awesome.
Man, sounds good. If I had to put it all in a word, it would probably be
Mento.
Mento.
Jesus Christ. What else did you read, Greg?
I read Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe One Last Time
Hell
by
yeah.
Cullen Bunn and Talibor Talajic.
Get it, Colin.
This,
No, tell
Just
them
like-
what you told me.
just like the Absolute Green Lantern book, I thought I was going to get one thing, and I got this incredible story about a different version of Deadpool than what we have. This Deadpool has been tasked by just like time traveler girl who's like trying to clean up different timelines to like get rid of all of like Deadpool has to like help her take care of like World Breaker Hulk, couple other like random Marvel Elseworld villains that have shown up throughout the years. I think one of them is like Craven's daughter,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm blanking right now, but like it's basically like this universe is Deadpool like having to clean up the timeline, and he has like special like wristband that helps him travel through multiverses. And what's funny is it gets broken when he's battling like the World Breaker Hulk, and he time slides, I guess, into Marvel 616 continuity, and and this alternate Deadpool is just like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. And like the girl radios in, and she's like, no, this universe is different. This is like a prime universe. And she's like, I actually need your help saving this universe. Like, you're supposed to help these heroes here. And so that's like where the book ends off. And it's funny because like the Deadpool that we have that Colin's presenting isn't quippy. He's like, he isn't this like,
He's like the serial
jokester.
killer one, right?
No, this is he's like just kind of like sullen. He's like,
Oh, okay.
Sullen Bun.
sullen bun. I don't know if it's the same, because I never read the other Deadpool versus the
You
Marvel.
definitely should.
Okay, maybe I will. After I read old Resurrection Man comics, I'll pick up Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. But yeah, he's not like quippy.
Okay.
He's just kind of like me if I got Deadpool powers. I'm like pretty mellow, not excitable, don't know many jokes. Gotcha. It was fun. I sincerely enjoyed this book. I thought it would be some kind of like gimmicky throwaway thing, but clearly Cullen Bunn's on there, so you know that's not going to be an option. He puts a little heart and soul in everything he does. So if you've read the other Deadpool versus Marvel universes, you're going to clearly enjoy this one. But if you're new to the franchise, like me, it's a breath of fresh air for the Deadpool character.
I would highly recommend not only the kills.
Oh, he kills the Frank Castle, Frankenstein.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice. I would recommend the Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe stuff, but also the Deadpool Killogy, where
Do we have to call it a trilogy?
yes, because that's how it's collected as in the omnibus. But it's Deadpool Kills Marvel Universe, Deadpool Kills Deadpool, and Deadpool Killustrated.
I love that.
It's good stuff. It really is. What else do you read?
I think that's it. Oh wait, no. I read the Daredevil Cold Day in Hell.
God, I didn't get that one either.
It is by
Charles Soule.
Charles Soule, and I don't think it's like an alternate universe, but it is a universe wherein we'll just treat it as an Elseworld because it's set into a time period where like Daredevil has actually lost his powers, like they're just gone, and I don't know if he gave them up or like something happened, like they just went away, but he's like trying to live a life of like when he was like the priest or whatever. He's just like trying to be helpful. He works in a soup kitchen. He's just trying to rebuild the lives of people around him.
And to be clear, this is like Old Man Deadpool, right?
Daredevil.
I said, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like Old Man Daredevil.
Yeah, because like New York's in shambles. Like the bridge is like destroyed. So is it in the Old Man
I don't know
universe?
that. I don't think it's in that same timeline, but it's like
Okay.
Spider-Man Reign or Old Man.
Yeah, it's like set
Logan,
into like a
and-
universe where Daredevil is
he's past his prime.
yes, exactly. And then so when he's like working at the soup kitchen, there's like this big explosion that happens, and like the barrel explodes that also gave him his powers when he was younger. So like in seconds, he's like given back his powers. And he, of course, switches into Daredevil mode and has to figure out where the explosion comes from. And there's like these goons that are like trying to collect weapons and chemicals from like underneath New York to help their leader, who we find out later is Bullseye, like Old Man Bullseye,
Sure.
who has a cut up Frank Castle on his wall that he's keeping alive.
Whoa.
Like no arms and no legs, and he's just like torturing. But he goes down there and they run off, and we see Captain America, like Old Man Captain America, is like holding up basically like the subway system with this like little girl cowering before him. And he was like, you need to get her out of here. She's the reason that they were down. Like she is like responsible for like saving everything. We need to like protect her at all costs. But we don't know who she is or what's her deal.
Crazy.
So now like Daredevil, like the subway collapses on Captain America. You assume he's dead because Daredevil can't hear his heartbeat anymore. And so now Daredevil has this young girl that he doesn't know what to do with, and we'll find out in the next like two issues. Because 1 of 3.
That's rips.
So
That's so good.
it's very badass.
At what point do we start pointing the finger back at Matt Murdock and say, you've got a goo that cures blindness and you're keeping it all to yourself so you can be a superhero?
God chose the goo for him.
I mean, it happened to him twice. It's like you can figure out what the goo is.
It's
And the
God's
goo-
plan.
The goo not only cures blindness, but creates Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, it creates Teenage Mutant Ninja Blind Turtles.
They go blind, but they become
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Supersonic.
Well, let's go down the list. There's Leonardo. He's the leads. Raphael. He's a
Crude, but
what is he? Rude but cool.
yeah.
Donatello. He knows computers.
Yeah.
He does computers.
Physically.
Michelangelo. He's the party dude.
The party dude. And then Matt Murdock, the religious one.
Right. Right. Fucking goody two shoes.
The good boy.
He can't fight crime on Sundays.
The narc. I hope Jason Aaron puts him in the new TMNT.
Guys, I don't think this is legal.
Shredder told us not to watch this channel.
Then go be a lawyer, dork.
You and your lowercase t constantly getting in my way. It was solid. It's like a fun, kind of like Elseworldian take on old Matt Murdock.
I'm stoked about it.
It's very cool. It's drawn beautifully.
Yeah. Is it JRJR or is he just doing
No,
covers?
he's doing covers.
Okay. I also picked up a couple of other ones that I'll just fly through here. I picked up Pastime by Joe Harris and Russell Olson, which is a sports book about baseball. There's kind of a
Sports book about baseball.
it's a kind of split story, past present thing where this old man is telling a story about him working during the Barnstorm like Negro League era, but he encounters a vampire. So I think there's going to be this again split story of this
cool.
vampire encountering him as a young man playing nighttime baseball games.
Never made it as a young man.
And this old man during 1940 Chicago. So
This looks so cool.
it was a pretty cool book. It's kind of hard to describe the premise just because it's so strange. I mean, it's a baseball vampire Negro Leagues book. Like that doesn't mean anything. I don't know, but it's super intriguing to read through, and it highlights a very cool, like a lot of vampire books. It can highlight kind of an under visualized aspect or like community because that's typically who vampires prey on, are like the people that are
On the outskirts.
less than. And this highlights that really well. So, very cool book. I would recommend it. It's out on Mad Cave.
I'm in Kansas City. We are home to the Negro Leagues Museum.
Yeah.
It is like one of the best museums you'll ever go to. If you're
It's fucking so cool.
if you're in Kansas City, put it on your list of
Yeah.
things to check out.
The whole
especially if you're a
18th
sports
and
fan.
Vine area is jazz
Yeah.
museums and
So
and
fucking cool.
the Negro Leagues. It rips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also on Mad Cave, I read Crush Depth, which was actually out 2 weeks ago, but my shop didn't have it, so I got this. If anybody has seen Underwater with Kristen Stewart, it's a lot like that. We have this ship that has been, or this giant submarine that has been underwater for 10 years, and we don't know if this is, I mean, we get the impression that this is Earth that is somehow completely flooded. We don't know why, but they encounter another crashed submersible that they were receiving a distress call from, and there is some sort of giant monster there.
I was gonna make a terrible joke about that poor submarine that was piloted by the PlayStation 2 controller that's just exploded.
Yeah, it's not piloted by billionaires.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a cool book that explores those. I think there's probably going to be some like climate change stuff, but I'm not 100% sure why. I read it pretty quickly in the car before we started recording, so I'll be honest. But
Awesome cover. Mad Cave's been killing it lately.
yeah, totally. And the premise is cool. I'm down for any like monster stuff under the ocean. So,
Speaking of monsters under the ocean,
and then the last book I read, Godzilla vs. Fantastic Four. It is exactly what it is on the tin. Ryan North and JRJR are writing this story. And what I learned from
interesting.
this book, what I gleaned, is that because Marvel's doing like a whole bunch of other, X-Men is next, Godzilla versus Avengers, whatever. But each one is an era of Marvel comics.
Oh,
So
cool.
this
Okay.
one is like mid-60s, peak Fantastic Four. They make a reference to Fantastic Four number 50, which is like the Silver Surfer stuff. So he's like on Earth here. And then the X-Men one is up next, and then that looks like 90s era or something. So that was kind of cool. I mean, again, it's kind of a gimmicky book, but it's a fun Fantastic Four, like in the style of Stan Lee and Kirby. So yeah.
Aha.
And Fabian Nitscher is writing the X-Men
Oh,
one.
perfect. Yeah, that's funny.
It's all very cool. So
They're trying to channel JR Senior through JRJR
yes, very, very much so.
for that one. Okay.
are they doing different styles of Godzilla too?
I mean, it's all the same Godzilla, I think.
Sometimes these different artists draw stuff different.
Well,
you
no,
know?
it'd just be
You
funny
know,
to
these
get
guys-
like Godzilla 2000 in one of these.
Oh,
The Matthew Broderick,
the Matthew
second
Broderick
reference
one.
of him today.
Well, these are all co-sponsored by Toho. So this is I don't
Canon.
know, the official
These are canon.
Japanese Godzilla, not America Godzilla. So
Oh,
there you go. Fun stuff. And they're doing these cool homage covers too. So pick those up.
nice.
And that's it.
Busy week for the club.
Yeah, we had another week that was completely mental. Come back and hopefully it'll be a little less mental next week.
Next week will be completely sane, bruv.
Completely sane next time. We'll see you then. Bye bye.